Show, and thank you so much for being with us today. A small act of kindness can make a big difference, especially during tough times.
Yeah, Project Comfort is a sewing ministry that spreads the love of Christ to people in need. Lori Johnson has the story.
Each year, the ladies from Norfolk, Virginia's First Baptist Church turn out more than 5,000 useful items made with fabric, thread, and love.
Before I come, I say a prayer that whatever I do today would benefit someone in some way that would touch them.
They call their sewing ministry Project Comfort. Debbie Allen runs it.
I call these our frou-frou hats.
Frou-frou hats.
Feel that.
The finished products fit into one of 30 categories. Hats, for example, feminine ones for women experiencing hair loss from chemotherapy, and more masculine ones designed for men struggling in a different way.
The denim blue, the hunter green, black, charcoal, and all of that, because we run a homeless ministry here. And we provide these to the homeless ministry.
Crocheted baby blankets go to crisis pregnancy centers along with these machine-sewn pillowcases, while these tiny items are for hospitals.
So these are little vests that we send to the NICUs for the preemie babies. And they're all done with Velcro. So you can very easily open this up, and then you lay the child in there.
The ladies make patriotic-themed pieces for veterans in hospice care.
These quilts bring them comfort while they're still alive. And then after they pass, the family has either a pillow or they have a quilt, something to say, my child touched this. It was with him to the end.
This piece of fabric with lots of pockets fits nicely on a walker.
While it helps, you don't need to know how to operate a sewing machine to join this ministry. In fact, if you've never held a needle and thread in your life, there are plenty of people here who can teach.
Like Cheryl Lawson, who brings years of experience.
What better way to share your God-given talents than to help other people and to be here with all these wonderful ladies.
Here, the women take part in an assembly line, cutting, ironing, stuffing, and stitching small multi-purpose pillows for breast cancer patients. They can be used under the arm to protect drainage tubes, cushion the head during infusions, and padding under a shoulder seatbelt.
Something they can take with them when they leave the hospital or the doctor's office or chemo. It's just like sharing a part of you.
These large embroidered bibs are provided to nursing homes.
This has the drapery liner blackout, so it doesn't allow anything that's spilt on the front to go through.
Even with all the materials and resources needed, this ministry is self-funded.
We have people constantly donating fabric or machines or, everything that we need to make this place run. And it just happens. God makes it happen.
The generous donations also allow Project Comfort to join mission trips to developing countries. There, they pass on donated sewing machines, fabric, and supplies while teaching women how to use them.
They can sew for their family, which was most important. Also, they can sew and earn money from what they sewed. So that was something really different to them.
So while these women enjoy a common bond working side by side, their true joy comes from showing the love of Christ to people in need. Lori Johnson, CBN News.
So cool to see what goes on in the church halls and people getting together. I mean, this whole show is going to be about how people are helping people. I hope people are inspired by the fact that here are folks who say, Lord, I've got a skill set. I have something to offer, and so does this person and this person and this person. They come together. It's such an amazing opportunity to express love to people in a very unique way.
No, I think some people underestimate the need of sewing. I mean, I've shared this before, but my dad is the sewer in our family. And it's because his mother was like, look, this is actually a really practical skill that's good for you to know. Of course, the typical thing is women know how to sew, but I think it's...
Is he still doing it?
Well, I mean, he doesn't sew intricate things, but it's more of if my sister's kids have a hole in their jacket, he can fix the hole. But it's just interesting because I've been following this individual on social media. He's sailing the Pacific.
Not your dad.
Not my dad.
Okay.
No. That's a younger guy who knows how to sew, and he's sailing across the Pacific. Well, he knows how to sew when his sail gets ripped.
It saves his life.
And it literally saves his life. So, you know, men out there, guys, you can sew too.
And their ministry is blessing infants and the elderly, and it's also a wonderful time for them to fellowship together.
Oh, 100%,
you know?
yeah.
It's just really cool.
It's such a beautiful thing that they're doing.
Yeah, we've got some other beautiful stories coming up,
Yeah,
too.
absolutely. Well, here's another one. Dealing with cancer is referred to as a battle for a reason. And when one tries to maintain life as usual, it often feels like a losing battle. Debbie Sardone has made it her mission to help women battling cancer, and it all started with a phone call.
Debbie Sardone has seen how hard the battle against cancer can be, especially when trying to keep a clean house.
When my mother was battling cancer, I saw firsthand the difficulty and the struggle. And I could only imagine if she couldn't afford maid service, her having to keep her own house clean. It would have been out of the question.
Debbie went on to start her own cleaning business. One day, she answered a call that would change her life.
I took a call from a woman who was just inquiring about pricing for cleaning her home at my company, Buckets and Bows Maid Service. And before she hung up the phone, she said, I can't really afford that right now. I'm going through chemotherapy and radiation, and I'm not working. And she hung up before it even occurred to me that I could have offered her the cleaning for free.
That day, Debbie implemented a new policy in her company.
No woman in my community that was battling cancer would have to recover in a dirty house. Here they are in the battle for their life. Pushing a vacuum, scrubbing a toilet is out of the question.
The impact of her decision didn't just affect her own business.
I turned that company policy into a nationwide nonprofit, and we began recruiting maid services all over the United States and Canada to also donate free cleanings in their community to women battling cancer.
With the help of these maid services, women across the country are receiving the help they need.
I have seen something as simple as a toilet brush change a life. Walking into a clean home gives women strength and hope so that they can focus on their health. One particular woman, Carolyn, wrote us, she said that her diagnosis with cancer was so crushing, she did not believe she was going to beat that disease. And after walking into a clean home, she said for the first time since her diagnosis, she felt control back in her life.
For Debbie, cleaning is more than just a business.
I am so personally enriched by making sure that these women don't have to come home to a dirty house. Several of them have become very personal friends, and it's an emotional relationship, and it's really a spiritual relationship. I'm helping them through this difficult time, and they're giving back to my soul and feeding my soul just by their friendship and their love. You know, I feel like Cleaning for a Reason is a calling. When you're in business, obviously you spend your days focusing on growing your business, but I answer to God and I answer to a higher calling. I think as Christians, that is something we all need to look for in our own lives or in our own businesses, is ways to serve others and to make their life better.
I absolutely love this story. And look, I'm wearing the pink for breast cancer awareness. Wasn't even realizing that. How cool is that? But I just think it's so amazing what Debbie has started. Obviously, she just said it at the end of that piece. She goes, you know, I answer to God. And I think so many times we can get overwhelmed by the world and things like that and just forget that God has us here for a purpose. And he's put individual talents and gifts that we are called as believers to use to glorify God and to help others in need. And I just think that's such a beautiful representation of exactly what Debbie's doing with her business.
It's interesting, the satisfaction is one word I think she used, but also like the blessing she receives from helping other people. And these God ideas are so inspirational. And I really respect people like Debbie who think of the unique parts of where someone may be struggling. Obviously, the cancer is the big concerning, significant issue. And she's saying what little things could make such a big difference. And we're seeing in those two stories how people have ideas and skill sets that can really bless people, even if we don't think it's that significant. It is.
It really is. And you know, I have one of my best friends, her mother is actually currently battling cancer. So please keep Penny in your prayers if you could. But I just think, gosh, that would make such a difference for her. Home to a clean home after chemo, radiation. Oftentimes these patients, these people, male and female, they feel like absolute just poo coming back from these treatments. And so what a blessing to have to come home to a clean, organized home. It really is a blessing. Shannon and her sons evacuated before the hurricane hit their Florida community. When they returned, their home was a scene of massive destruction. But thanks to you, they received the help that they needed to begin recovery.
Shannon is a single mother who always tried to raise her 2 sons to have faith. But when a hurricane hit her Florida community, their faith was shaken.
It wasn't really supposed to be a direct hit here. You know, it was a very quick transition to pack up your, prized possessions and get out for your safety.
Shannon quickly made the decision to evacuate with her sons to escape the violent winds and floods. While staying with family, they found out their house had flooded. They were devastated.
I mean, there's moments where, like, you're broken. You're scared, but then I can't fall apart because I got 2 people that depend on me for everything. It's very daunting to even start moving things as one single person, or even, a single adult and 2 children trying to move stuff out.
Operation Blessing disaster relief teams deployed to Florida before the hurricane even made landfall. In partnership with Christian Center Church, volunteers brought cleaning kits and other relief items to help disaster victims like Shannon and her family.
Having all hands on deck, helping move things, dismantle bedroom furniture, take out dressers that would have been extremely difficult even for me and my boys to take out on my own. Thank God for Operation Blessing and my church that immediately came over to meet the need of helping me pick things up and clear them out.
Thanks to the support of Operation Blessing partners, Shannon and her boys got the help they needed to begin recovery and renew their faith.
I love this story. I mean, as we've shared before, this entire show is just about the beauty of when we decide to be generous and we decide to help others in need. You know, God does not bless us to hoard it all to ourselves. He's given us money, time, talents, and gifts in order to share it with others. And I've shared this before, but I think sometimes the most holiest thing you can do is help people in need. And that is exactly what CBN 700 Club partners are doing every single day around the world. If you're a CBN 700 Club partner, a portion of every single gift goes into the work of Operation Blessing, which helps fund the Disaster Relief Fund. As you just saw in that story, Operation Blessing was literally there before the disaster striked. So therefore, we're there afterwards to help out immediately, like you just saw in that story. And if you're not a CBN 700 Club partner, I encourage you to become one today. It's really simple. All you have to do is either give us a call, 1-800-700-7000. You can also become a partner by going online to cbn.com, or you can do my personal favorite. It's really simple. All you have to do is text CBN to the number 71777. When you do that, you're going to get a text message with a link. All you have to do is click that link, and it'll send you over to our giving page, where from there you can choose at whatever level you would like to become a 700 Club partner. There's 700 Club, which is just $20 a month. I believe that's 65 cents a day. When you think about it, how much money do we spend on a latte at Starbucks or a coffee shop? It's at least $5. So it's just so cool that we get to help people with just 65 cents a day all over the world. There's different levels, of course. There's 700 Club Gold, $40 a month. The 1,000 Club is $84 or more a month. Whatever level God is putting on your heart, we just ask that you prayerfully consider that. Again, give us a call, 1-800-700-7000. Go to cbn.com or text CBN to the number 71777 to become a CBN 700 Club partner. You will not regret it.
There's a movement growing.
I felt led to pray for America.
I started to pray for America.
I am praying for America. People from all over the world are praying for America. Right now, we're praying for all 50 states, and we want you to be a part of it. Only through humbling ourselves in prayer can we change the course of our nation. So join us. Go to prayforamerica.com. Take the pledge to pray with us. When you do, you'll receive your free Let's Pray for America gift. It includes a prayer card, an exclusive Pray flag, and static clink sticker to let others know you've joined the movement. Plus, special prayer guides to help as we pray together. Be a part of this movement and let's pray for America.
I am praying for America.
I'm praying for America.
I'm praying for America.
Join us now at prayforamerica.com. Call now or text PRAY to 71777.
Join with thousands of our partners across the nation and pray for America. All you have to do is go to prayforamerica.com or text the word PRAY to 71777. Or always give us a call at 1-800-700-7000 and let us know that you'll be praying for our country. When you do, we're actually going to send you something in return. This is our Pray for America flag. Here it is. There we go. We can wave it. You can sing God Bless the USA. You can put it on your desk, put it in your car, whatever you want. You not only get this, but you also get a Pray for America window cling you can put on your car windows wherever you want. So make sure you please join us in prayer for our nation. We definitely need it. We've got an election coming up. We need your prayers. Give us a call, 1-800-700-7000, or go to prayforamerica.com or text the word PRAY to 71777 if you want this. All right, Andrew.
Yeah, God bless the USA.
Yes.
All right, this next story is incredible. It's impossible to know how many people walked right by Richard. He'd been on the streets of East LA for months. Looked like just another homeless addict. No one gave him a second thought until a real-life guardian angel felt God telling her to help.
I could tell that this is someone who'd been on the streets for many months. He'd obviously had an injury. And I thought, what is he doing out here? You know, he's so young and there must be more to his story.
Jody Lee Patterson was in her car when she noticed a young man who she thought was homeless, limping down the sidewalk wearing a thin coat and no shoes. East Los Angeles was in the middle of a harsh winter, and she was concerned for him.
I just looked at him, my heart broke, and the Lord said, help him. In my head, I was thinking, oh, this could be dangerous, you know, but I couldn't leave him there. I just couldn't. So I drove over with my car and rolled my window down, and I said, can I help you? Are you hungry? Let me take you to get something to eat. He'd said to me, what? You're helping me? I can't believe this.
While he ate, she asked him about his situation, but his responses were muddled, and it became clear that he had a mental disorder. He didn't have an ID, and the only thing she could get from him was his name, Richard.
There was sort of a childlike expression there. I felt the Lord telling me, help him. And so I just went with that.
Jody Lee took Richard to a motel after buying him some warm clothes and shoes. The next day, she returned to drive him to the hospital. After 13 hours of waiting, Richard was admitted and found to be suffering from exhaustion, a strained leg muscle, and cracked feet from walking the streets barefoot. The doctor who examined him had some pointed questions for Jody Lee.
And he said, well, who are you? Why are you with this young man? And I said, well, I'm just a friend trying to help. I think they couldn't believe that somebody would do that to help somebody to that extent. And I could see that they were just passing him off as another crazy drug addict, which he wasn't, of course. That emboldened me more to help him. And I had this feeling, I don't know, is he really homeless? So that sent me on a quest to go home and find out more about this person.
Before Jody Lee left, Richard gave her a last name, Salvatierra. She spent the next 2 days researching the name until finally she found something. A Facebook post from someone looking for their brother who'd gone missing several months before. Jody Lee called the local police station to verify the information. It was then that she realized it would actually be up to her and God to get Richard back to his family.
A woman answered, but she said, why are you interested in this? Like, what is this? This is not your business. And she wouldn't help me. I was angry. I'm like, how is this system so broken that when you try to help someone, that everything is against you. I felt real discouraged, and I thought, well, I'm gonna push forward. God's gonna do it. He's gonna help me.
Jody Lee called the station again the next day and spoke with a different officer. This time, she got an answer. He confirmed that there was a missing person by that name and gave her the phone number of Richard's sister, Erica. Jody Lee made the call.
I said, I found your brother. And she said, what? I said, I found Richard. And she said, I can't believe that. I said, don't worry, he's doing really well. But can I ask you something before I tell you more? I said, were you praying for him? And she said, yes. We were all praying for him for 4 months. And I was like, I know, I just felt that.
I was just like in tears and excited. I just was so emotional because you think the worst, but then you just also want to be so thankful, you know, to be able to see him again.
Richard and Erica were reunited at the hospital.
I was standing outside the room. I didn't want to interrupt that process. I just watched. And it was beautiful. It was an incredible moment.
Jody Lee learned from Erica that Richard is 26 years old and has a disability due to brain trauma from his youth, which causes schizophrenia. He'd wandered out of the apartment complex where he was staying with his uncle, and they'd been searching for him ever since. Both Erica and Richard are grateful to Jody Lee for her generous heart.
She was the answer to a lot of our prayers. She's a blessing, and Richard's real life guardian angel.
It made me happy. It made my day because I didn't have anything. I left here on accident. I was like, what do I do? I want to say thanks a lot, Jody, for helping me.
Jody Lee has maintained her friendship with Richard and his family, even sharing the love of Jesus with him. She gives God all the glory for Richard's safe return and inspiring her to reach out.
All it took was one person to believe in him and realize this, you know, that he wasn't what everyone thought, that he was actually somebody very special. I feel really honored that God would use me. I'm just a very regular person. And if God can use me, God can use anybody.
Ashley, isn't it interesting to hear the family tell Jody Lee, we've been praying for him for months.
Yeah.
And the answer to their prayer came from Jody Lee's obedience.
Yeah.
And of course it's risky and we've got to be very careful.
Right, use wisdom.
We've all driven by or walked by people on the streets, and I want to help, should I help? Sometimes we do, sometimes we don't. We have to be very cautious and protect ourselves. But in this case, Jody Lee felt a prompting from the Spirit and responded, and it changed the family's life.
It's just absolutely beautiful. And I love what Jody said, you know, if God can use me, surely he can use you. And he does he wants to use all of us in so many amazing, unique ways, again, to help others. God has called us to be a blessing to others.
And it's interesting that, you know, when we drive past people on the streets, walk past them, whatever, I mean, everyone has a story. I remember just quickly when I was a sports reporter for CBN, I produced a story on a gentleman named J.R. Richard. He was an incredibly talented, very successful pitcher for the Houston Astros in the late 70s, early 80s, dominant. 100-mile-an-hour fastball, the whole bit.
Wow.
But through a series of events, health concerns, and things that happened to him, he wound up out of baseball on the streets. And for years, Houston Astro fans would drive by this corner intersection and see this gentleman on the streets and didn't even know it was him.
Wow. Wow.
I mean, here he is a couple blocks from the stadium where he was so dominant. And then it was JR on the streets, and eventually he got his life back together. Had amazing testimony. He's now deceased, but you never know who's there and why and what circumstances have brought him there. So, as Ashley said, we've seen today how people have responded to God's call to help others, but also I think it elicits compassion in our hearts for people too.
Absolutely. I was going to say, it's so easy for us to just turn away from the people, the individuals that we see on the streets. Again, like Andrew said, use wisdom, use discernment and caution, keep ourselves and families safe. But every person is an image bearer of God. And I think that that's just such a good reminder for us today. Like, remember that every single person was made in the image of Christ. Whether they know Christ or not, they are still made in the image of God. And so therefore, it is our responsibility and our blessing to treat them as such. So
really inspiring stuff today.
Yeah, absolutely.
I want to thank you for joining us, and we leave you with these words from Hebrews 13, verse 16. And don't forget to do good and to share with those in need. These are the sacrifices that please God. Thanks again for joining us, and we'll see you next time on 700 Club Interactive.
See you guys. God bless you.
Bye.